Hello guys, how are you doing? So my name is Cynthia. Welcome to my channel. So in the past 1 week I've been speaking on the kind of parenting styles, and I've done a video on that. You can find it in my channel. You just check on it. Just look for Woman of Faith channel by Cynthia, and you will find a video I did on parenting styles. So after the video on parenting styles, I also did another video opening up on the character traits that adults or youths that were raised by dominant parents portray. Okay, so in this video we are going to continue with that conversation and just look at the character traits that are portrayed by children who are raised by parents who are negligent, or who are raised by a kind of parenting style that is called negligent. So how will you know that you as a parent is a negligent parent? And how will you also identify that the kind of wounds that you have in your heart were, you are sown into your heart by a parent that was negligent? So how to identify a parent who is negligent is this. A parent who is negligent is a parent who is not available in the life of the child physically, okay? And this could happen because of divorce, because of separation, or because of work. Some people have been transferred to places that are far away from their residential homes, and so they have had to work away from their children for years in the process of trying to make ends meet. And there are people who are once married, but they broke up, or they separated, or they divorced because of irreconcilable differences, or because of wounds that they had caused each other, that they could not deal with. They could not forgive each other while staying together, and therefore the relationship had to be terminated. And the children who were born out of that relationship were the ones affected the most. And so you could be a victim of such a parenting style. You could have been brought under a home that the parents divorced, the parents separated, or one or both of your parents walked away from home for many years. They just came back after many years when you were old enough. And so the kind of resentment that exists between you and them is irreconcilable. And so I like to you the kind of character traits that will help you to identify an adult or a youth that was brought up in a family that is, in a kind of a setup of negligent parents. And for you who is watching, if you are a victim of such parenting style, it will help you to heal yourself, okay? It will help you to understand what your parents were going through at that particular time. It will help you to understand your cousin, your friend, who behaves in a certain way to suggest that they also went through such a kind of upbringing. And it will also help you to, to be a good parent, to make a change. Because if you grew up in such a family, you don't want your children to also grow up in such a family. And so when you watch this video, you will make a deliberate decision that if work has to come between you and your children, then you got to even let go that job. You can let go that job that will require you to work away from your children, and you get another job that is even less paying, that you can be physically available in the life of your children, though poor but available. And if you have irreconcilable differences with your partner, then this is the time to sit down, and agree that we will not go up to this point for the sake of our children. We will not make such decisions for the sake of our children. If I have to let go my ego, I will let it go for the sake of my children. If I have to let go of, extramarital affairs, then I will let it go for the sake of my children, because I don't want them to turn out to be the way I turned out to be. Okay, so let us go straight away and look at the character traits. How will you identify that so and so must have grown up in a family where the parents were negligent? They were not available in the lives of their children physically. So the first character trait that will help you identify is that these are the people who can just live, they can cope without parents. They can live their life comfortably without parents. They don't need them. These are people who you will realize that it's Mother's Day and it doesn't make a big deal to them. It's Father's Day, it doesn't make a big deal to them. It's Christmas, it is Easter. People are going to spend time with their parents and the people they love, but they prefer to spend time alone than go and spend time with their parents, because they do not make a lot of sense to them. Because they were not available in their lives. And so they never learned to love them. They never learned to spend time with them or even talk with them. And so it doesn't make a lot of sense to them, having them in their lives. And this is so hurting. I can imagine, like for me, I love my mom so much and we talk on phone for like 3 hours every day. I can imagine a life of a girl like me who will just live their life comfortable without speaking to their mom on phone, or without visiting them regularly, and just being comfortable with them. It's so hurtful, because you need to spend time with your parent to learn from her or him, to get nuggets of wisdom from them. And your parent also need you to feel love, because as they continue growing older, they need love from you, they need affirmation from you. The table turns. When you are young, you needed the love, the attention, the affection from them. But now when they're of age, now they need it from you. And so I can imagine if that bridge between the parent and the child is broken, then both the child and the parent are broken. So one of the character traits of a child who grew up in a family where the parent was negligent is that they can cope so well without parents. The second character trait is that they make parents or create parents out of anybody who shows them love. Okay, you can find that there is a person who loves their teacher more than their parents. They call their teacher every day, but they don't call their parents as much. They even go to visit their primary school teacher, and they don't even go visiting their parent as regular. Or maybe they could be visiting their best friend, or who is of age, or maybe, I don't know, like just a stranger who is of age and not their parent, or just a caregiver. You find that there are people who are so drawn to their grandmothers, their grandfathers, more than they are drawn to their own parents, and they can spend a lot of time, sharing with their grandparents than they can share with their parents. And so that is what happens when someone is raised by a negligent parent. They create parents out of anybody who shows them love. Okay, and the third character trait that you will observe from a child who has been brought up by a negligent parent is that they tend to look for attention and approval from their peers. Okay, you will find that a friend can just hurt you, and you will carry that baggage for such a long time. I mean, just a friend. This is not your father or your mother. Why is it that it hurts so much? It's because there's a way when they make friends, it is like the bond that they were supposed to share with the parent, they share with the friend. And so any form of disapproval or disappointment or betrayal sinks deep than someone else who was brought up in a firm and loving family. okay, with a firm and loving parent. And so if you find that there is a friend of yours who will be so hurt when you do something to them, or they need approval from you to do things, they can call you to ask for, I needed an advice. They can call you, when you don't show them attention as much, then it becomes a big deal, because they need it from you. Some people call them needy people, or clingy, because they need the attention and affection that they did not get from their parent, from their peers. And so at times they can be so pressured when they find that their peers are moving on in life so fast than they are moving. They can be affected by little things, by the way a peer is going up in their career, or maybe a peer is traveling to different countries. Such things may cause them hurt simply because their peer is better than them, or because they need to keep up with their peers. They need approval, attention, recognition from their peers. And the last character trait is that they are prone to alcohol abuse, and they tend to stay in abusive relationships. This is because, let me explain first about the drug abuse. This is because an empty heart needs, something to fill it, okay? And they need something to fill it and make them, and fill it, something to fill it and make them feel like it is filled. And you know what drugs do? They give you short-term, short-term, like feeling that you feel, you forget your pain, you forget your sorrow, you forget your heart, and you feel some form of high. And so it doesn't matter even if it is 2 hours of high, but it just takes you off the pain that you're feeling in the natural. And so most of these people who grow up in negligent families, they feel a lot of vacuum inside their heart, a lot of emptiness and loneliness that can only be filled by alcohol. And so they tend to abuse alcohol most of the time. They tend to abuse drugs like heroin, because from one high to the high, they need one more high after every high. I don't know whether I'm making sense, but they need to get more high all the time. The longest they can get out of their natural feeling, the better for them. And so they can try every kind of drug just to feel better about themselves and forget the pain. About the abusive relationships, I have told you that these are people who can make parents out of even a stranger, just because they've been shown love, okay? And so this is a person who you can show them love, today, or you can do a good thing to them that many people have not done, and that will make them draw close to you, okay? And once they've found that one thing in you, then they feel like they cannot get that thing from anybody else, okay? And most of the time, okay, they can stay in abusive relationship, that just because they feel like there's nobody else who cannot love them if they found true love according to them in that relationship, or they feel like there's no one else who can understand them, okay? And so they tend to be vulnerable to abusive relationship, simply because they feel like there's no better treatment than what they have, or they feel like everybody else is being mistreated like that, and that is the way they're supposed to be treated, because they've been treated that way all through their life, okay? And so most of the time you will realize that a friend of yours is in drug abuse and drug addiction. You can find that your friend is in abusive relationship, but they cannot let go. It is because of the type of parenting styles that they went through in their childhood, that their parent was not available, and so they don't know what it is to be loved. They don't know what it is to get attention from a parent, and whatever they get is what they accept. So they settle for less almost every part of their life, and they feel a lot of pain. Okay, so that is the information I'm to leave you with, is that it is not like they love it. And so if you have a friend of yours who is in an abusive relationship or an abusive marriage, then you need to spend time with them, speak to them. You can, if they're being abused, maybe their spouse is having many relationships, or out or away apart from their relationship or their marriage, then you can advise them to leave, because even the Bible allows you to leave your marriage on the base of sexual, having many sexual partners. If someone is cheating on you, you can leave that relationship, and you don't have to stay in that relationship. You need to tell them that it is possible to get love. True love is available. Isaiah 43 verse 16 says that none of this will lack a mate. Okay, and God will join them together from different places, and they will become one. And so it is possible for each of us to get a relationship that full of love and affection, and a relationship that is able to change us into better people, and a relationship that is able to help us even, to guard our hearts and prepare our hearts even for the second coming of Jesus Christ. Because how will you live in an abusive relationship, and yes, Jesus is coming back? How will you live, your life in drugs, and yet Jesus Christ is coming back for that person who is not in drug abuse? Because the Bible does not allow that drug abuse. The Bible does not, allow you to be, to be overwhelmed by the issues of this world. And so if you're in an abusive relationship, then your heart is not in a comfortable place to serve God. And so it is not worth your time, it is not worth your life. And so you need to interact with such people who are in abusive relationships, who are in drug abuse, because the kind of vacuum inside of them can only be filled by God. And you need to let them know that you love them, and that people love them, and that their life is not defined by the way their parents treated them, and by the kind of parenting style that they were brought under. Their life is not defined by that, and that they can change that course and live a different life. Okay, so God bless you so much. You're welcome again to my channel. Okay, in this channel we talk about matters life and matters gospel. Okay, so my name is Cynthia, and God bless you. See you again next time. Bye.